friends. It's the first Tuesday of the month for February 2022. That means Designer Challenge Day. This month, Karen Berniston has challenged the design team to make a mod Valentine using non-traditional colors and no pink or red. So I, of course, made mine black, white, and gold. I've used the new Hearts Crosshatch that swivels to the inside of the card when you open it. I've also used the Catherine label on the far right side of this card to add even more motion. The pivoting heart portion of this card was not my original idea. I saw it on YouTube, done by Jennifer McGuire. She didn't use a heart, but she used several other shapes. Adding the Catherine label to this card was my idea, and I'm quite happy with the way it turned out. I'm going to show you exactly how I made this card, as well as list all the materials that I used. So let's get started. The finished size of this card is 5.5 inches squared. That means that I started with an 11 by 5.5 piece of paper scored in the center. Using the largest heart from the Hearts Crosshatch die set, I found the center and cut a heart exactly in the middle of my card front. We won't need this black one for this project. We'll just save it for another day. For the card base, I used 100-pound black cardstock because I wanted it to be sturdy. I used black for the inside panel as well, but this time I chose to use 65-pound paper. This will allow more flexibility and less bulk. I've cut the inside panel 5.5 inches high, which is the same as the card, by 8.25. You need this panel to cover half of your front and all of the back panel of your card. You can adjust this for any size card by always making the height the same and the length 3/4 of the length of the card when it's open. Now I'm going to score this panel at 2 3/4 and 5.5. Next, I'm going to crease on the score lines, one mountain and one valley. It's going to look like a Z, and you want the valley fold on the bottom. Now let's open the panel up so we can install our Catherine label. I like to do that before I put it inside the card. When adding the Catherine label, we need to treat that second score line as the center of a card, any other card that would have a center crease line. So now I'm going to crease that first section on the left side of the card so that we can treat this just as we would any other card. I'm going to fold it completely behind so that it looks just like any other card. I've already cut the Catherine label mechanism out of black cardstock, and I'm going to install it in the crease of the card just as Karen does in her instruction video. If you need a little refresher on this, I've added glue to the top triangle of the mechanism. Now I'm folding it down on the second crease across the card. I'm going to add glue to the box, and then I'm going to close the cover over that. And then, of course, we have to wait for glue to dry. Okay, time for a little test. Yay, looks like everything is working correctly. Okay, it's time to add the panel to the card. I'm going to use tape runner here because that's my favorite method for attaching panels. So I'm going to line up the straight edge of my panel that has the Catherine label attached to it with this right-hand straight edge of the card, and the panel will go on the inside, of course. Now I want to attach the left side of the card to the inside of the front cover. And I'm doing this by creating two little strips. These strips are about 2 inches long and 1/2 inch wide, and then I crease them in the center. The easiest way to do this is to lay the card out so the inside panel is against the tabletop. Put glue on half of the tab up to the crease mark, and then glue it underneath the panel. Now I'm going to turn the card entirely over so you should see how it's going to look at this point. The tabs are glued underneath the panel at the halfway mark. Now I'm going to put glue on the top side of the tab, and I'm going to fold them under, leaving the card totally flat. Now the edge of the panel should come to the halfway point of the front panel of your card with the tabs tucked under. I had some problems here with my camera, and I apologize. I have to skip ahead where I've already put some of my decorations on the card. As you can see, I've decorated the Catherine label with some nice little hearts, and then I've used the new Sending Love die set to put Sending Love, and then I added a nice little panel for a personal greeting. This is just how my card should be looking at this point. The peaks are going in different directions. One's a mountain, one's a valley, and the card closes perfectly flat. Now it's time for the final step, and that is adding the heart to the front of the card. Now I'm going to add the white heart that I cut from the same die that I made the opening in the card. I've embossed the center heart for a little extra texture. This, of course, is a personal preference. With the card closed, I can see the inside panel of my card, and this is where I'm going to add the white heart. It should fit perfectly in the opening. It looks like a great fit, so it's time for a little adhesive. Now I want to be careful that I put adhesive on the inside panel on half of the heart. So I'm going to use a little bit of tape runner for that so that I can take my time to adjust everything. I'm going to hold the card flat, add a little bit of adhesive right in that opening, only up to the halfway mark. I'm going to take my time here and make sure that I get everything seated in there perfectly. And when I get done and I'm satisfied with the way it works, I'm going to take some glue and lift up the edges of my heart and glue it down permanently. Okay, I think that's good. I'm going to give it a test. Looks like everything is working perfectly. Now I'm going to go back in with my glue bottle, lift up the edges without removing the heart from the position it's in, and add a little glue. Okay, my mod Valentine is all set to go. Thank you so much for joining me today, and if you like this video, please click the like button below. Until next time, bye-bye.